Mary, this is my herb garden, and I put it close to my house because it's near the kitchen, obviously. I found an old cable reel in the woods. It was a double, actually, so my husband cut it apart, and I thought it's a good way to separate the individual herbs, and it just adds some artistic interest. So in this garden, I have some perennial and some annual herbs, lemon balm, chives, summer onion, garlic chives, oregano, and spearmint are all perennials. And then I have cilantro, basil, celery, and parsley that are annuals. And I also have some arugula and one tomato plant. And then I just started embellishing it with some of my flowers that I'm obsessed with. When we were farming, my mother-in-law had a purple clematis, a Jackmani, growing on the front of the house that we lived in. And I wanted to replicate that, and I couldn't take that one. So I bought one, and so that's been here about 15 years, and it blooms beautifully every year.
It is absolutely gorgeous. And then, where did you get that gate?
The gate came from a friend of ours he cleaned out his parents' barn when they both passed away, and he gave me that gate. So it's very special to me. I like gates too. And then this little item here, that the silver little flower arrangement, my son, who does installing dairy equipment, he is a welder, so he just took some of the components that he uses all the time and made me a Mother's Day bouquet. So it's very special. And then a friend of mine gave me these little stepping stones. My husband and I laid this path of, it's limestone. We took a path out of a customer's place, and they didn't want the limestone. Well, one who can't throw things away, there you go. So here it is at my house.
Well, I see some stacked stones too.
That, when my husband and I visited Switzerland several years ago, and I saw those, they're called cairns, spelled with a K, on the shores of Lake Zurich. And they had real intricate ones. And I thought, I probably can't do those, but I can do this. So I added them into my gardens as just a little bit of interest.
So when you harvest your herbs, do you use them mostly for fresh, or how do you use them?
I have a food dehydrator, so I will dry some and then I use them fresh as well. And I also freeze some, and I just use them that way in all my cooking.
So tell me how you dry them.
I just take the leaves and rinse them, and then I put them on the layers of my food dehydrator. And then I just watch it closely because they dry rather quickly.
Can you use and do different herbs at the same time,
Yep.
like one layer this and one, or do
Yep.
you have to worry about the scent going back and forth?
No, you can do that, but you have to watch them because like cilantro will dry quicker than the lemon balm that way. But otherwise, yeah, you can dry them. You know, if you only have enough for one layer, you may as well fill up the machine.
How do you freeze them?
I just chop them up and put them in freezer bags and label it. And then I'll put them in things like sauces that are cooked. You don't eat them, then they're no longer fresh, but they are in a sense, but not like we see them here.
Are any of the plants here plants that you've gotten from friends or relatives?
The hens and chicks, which are in the center, over in the corner, and on this corner, came from my husband's grandmother's garden. So they're very old. And these little variety of sedum came from his mother's garden. And so they're old as well. And this plant there, the ajuga, I got from a guy that we know. His name is Ken Anderson, and we did a landscaping job for my brother-in-law, and he and his wife came and brought the plant, so I met him, and I told him I really like that plant, so he was kind enough to give me one.
So, do you divide some of the plants that are in your beds?
I will when they get overgrown. I can tell, like the lemon balm, probably by next spring I'll have to take maybe about a third of it out.
And what do you do with it then?
Oh, I'll probably give it away or find a new home for it here.
Do you have to worry about the critters getting into this?
Nope, I never have had anything in this area. They stay away because I tell them to. The only thing we've had is deer in the back where the big vegetable garden is. So we had to fence it. But otherwise around the house, nothing. Mary, this is my sun and shade garden, but primarily sun. I get a lot of sun in the morning and then in the evening as well. And in the hot part of the day, it's shaded, which I think the plants appreciate. I don't know how many I have in here, but when I dug the garden out last fall, I took out 67 plants and potted them all, and I planted 42 back, and there are more than that now. But some of these are the daylilies that are one of my favorite plants because they bloom so profusely, as you could see here. And I like the Asiatic lilies, and the orange one next to the tree, the bulbs came from my husband's aunt's garden, and I helped her reset that garden shortly before she passed away, and she didn't get to see it, so she sees them here. So I have some plants that came from other people again. This is a white iris that came from another aunt. It's called Party Punch Phlox. It's vibrant pink. And then I just have a few of the Asiatic lilies and more daylilies and the echinacea. There's a sedum over there that's came from my mother-in-law's garden as well.
Well, it looks like you have another cairn. Is that how you pronounced
Yep,
it?
I've got a cairn in here too, and an old gate and statues. That was an anniversary gift.
Okay.
And then the path again is the slate that was taken out of that other place that we reused.
Donna, how do you keep up with the weeding?
I'm a weeder. I like to weed. If I see a weed, I pull it. So I walk through the gardens pretty much every day, and at least very early in the morning. And if I see a weed, I pull it. Or I hoe. I like to hoe as well.
And then do you deadhead too?
I do deadhead. I'll do that every day as well.
Then do you have water available if it gets dry?
Yep, I have a sprinkler, just a hose and a sprinkler. We don't have irrigation, obviously, it's too big. So I'll just put a sprinkler on the garden. Over here, Mary, I have what they call a naturalizing geranium. And I just like the texture and the pattern of the leaves. And the flowers are so delicate and so pretty. I just like that plant.
Well, you know they're blue, my favorite color, so
Yeah,
it's a wonderful plant.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful. And then over here I have the cosmos, the vibrant orange cosmos. They love the sun. That plant my friend started from seed this year, and she shared them with me. And they like this side because they get the hotter afternoon sun. And then here on the obelisk, I have morning glory, which I started from seed this year. And they will bloom a little later in the season, and they will be like bluish purple and some a white mixture with a little bit of variegation in the bloom itself. They're very pretty.
Did you start them right on that spot?
I started them in the ground underneath, on the base, at the base of that structure.
Donna, this is so beautiful with all of your beds nestled in among all the trees.
Well, they're primarily maple trees, so I've named this place Maple Haven because it's very quiet and peaceful, and it's almost like a sanctuary for me to be able to garden here.